Today's class, we'll start with a shorter meditation and then end with a kind of longer body scan meditation. So when you're ready, make your way to your yoga mat. We will start laying down. So make sure to get as comfy and cozy as you'd like, bringing any extra props or blankets with you. You could have a pillow under your head or a blanket up over your body or something else that seems right to you. Just go ahead and get comfy, maybe finding Shavasana with your arms and legs outstretched, or maybe constructive rest pose with your knees bent and your feet standing up at the edges of the mat. I really like to let my knees fall together and just kind of rest there so you really don't have to feel like you have to use much energy or effort to keep them up in place. And let your arms and hands settle in to a place to begin with. You can always change your mind or change your positioning anytime. So just as long as you're comfy. So as you arrive, maybe letting your eyes close if they would like to, or maybe you just kind of scan the room if you like to keep your eyes open. Maybe taking some long blinks. Just kind of giving your body some signals that we're slowing down. We're coming into this moment. Finding a sense of presence and awareness. And taking a clearing breath or a sigh anytime you'd like, in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can do that a couple of times if you'd like. Just releasing anything that might be kind of hanging on from your day so far. And if you'd like to set a dedication or intention for today's practice, feel free to bring something or someone to mind now. Let's take 3 just deep breaths together, in and out through your nose if that's available. Just breathing in nice and slow and full. And breathing out just the same. 2 more deep breaths. Replenishing your energy bit by bit. 1 more deep breath here. And a clearing breath in through your nose. And a sigh out the mouth. Find a steady and normal pace of breath again. And then begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Let your head kind of rock slowly to one side and then to the other. We'll head into a long body stretch, so straightening your legs, reaching toes and fingers in opposite directions. Maybe circling through the ankles and wrists a little bit if that feels natural to you. Maybe a yawn. Okay. And then we'll lift the arms just overhead or up high here for a moment. Then go ahead and hug opposite shoulders or reach for opposite shoulders. Just remember which arm is on top this time because we'll switch and you'll want to have this arm on the bottom for next time. But for now, just reaching for your shoulders. Feeling a little bit of opening through the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades should be kind of spread far apart. just giving that upper body through between the shoulders a little massage by rocking side to side through the upper body. Just a little rock. Sometimes it feels good to have constructive rest legs here, so maybe try bending your knees and standing your feet up. Just massaging out the upper back between the shoulders. You can keep rocking or just kind of hold for some pressure points. Or continue. And then when you're ready to switch sides, just again remember which arm is on top and then open your arms out wide and hug the opposite shoulders again with the other arm on top. Just a little bit of rocking on this side too, or not side, but with this arm on top. Just some nice massaging pressure there. And whenever you've had enough, let's take a big breath in and a breath out to open those arms back out to the sides for a moment. Let your arms rest for a breath. And then hug your knees in toward your chest and notice the pressure there at the low back as you move your knees around. Just some free movement here, side to side. Maybe those knees go in circles. Just massaging out the lower part of the back, the sacrum, the hips, the glutes even a little bit. Okay. And then we'll start to turn to either side, rolling through the fetal position and then pressing your way up to a comfortable seat. Take your time. You can always sit up on something too, some blocks or pillows, or even coming up to a chair if that feels good to you. We'll tent the fingertips off to the sides and just start to lengthen upwards through the crown of your head with just like a half tuck of your chin. So you're not really tucking it down, you're just lengthening the back of your neck a little bit more. Feel free to close your eyes if you like, just so you can sense this lengthening upward from an internal perspective. And notice your amount of effort here. If it feels like you're straining at all, maybe just letting yourself relax a couple of notches. Then with an inhale, let's reach both arms up and overhead, taking your time as they rise. Option to look up toward your hands as they join. And then exhale to lower your hands down to heart center. With a tuck of your chin this time, so you're looking down at your hands. Inhale, hands go high, gaze follows if you like. Exhale, arms reach around and down. Good. Let's do that again just like that. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale, hands to heart, tucking the chin. Inhale, hands go high. Exhale, hands reaching down to the floor. Okay, we're going to switch it up this time a little bit. With your inhale, reach up high and then interlace your fingers at the top. With your exhale, flip your palms and press upward. Just go ahead and breathe like normal as you take a little bit of side to side movement. Just kind of working with a little side bend action here. So you can take it nice and slow, maybe pausing on one side and then the other, or just keep moving. Okay. With an inhale, come back to center. And exhale, let your arms float back down. Okay, let's come to hands and knees next. So sweep those legs back and around. Tabletop for cat and cow. So spreading your fingertips out at a comfortable distance, knees below the hips, hands below your shoulders. With your inhale, start to lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, let the belly lower. Cow pose. And exhale to round through your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. Cat pose. Keep it going here at your own pace now. Inhale as you find a cow, gaze lifting, belly lowering. Exhales have you rounding up to cat. Keep exploring this movement, cat and cow, for a couple more rounds. All right. When you're ready, let's find our way to extended child's pose, bringing your knees out wide, touching big toes behind you. Start to sink your seat toward your heels, just enough, just what feels good. And then maybe lowering down to your forearms or walking your hands out toward the top of your mat and then sinking your head and chest down. And let your belly relax, finding some of those deep diaphragmatic breaths with your inhales, letting the belly expand. With your exhales, just releasing a little more toward the floor. You're welcome to stay right here or add on a little thread the needle pose, either from this position with the knees bent or from a tabletop position. So if this is feeling kind of hard on the knees, you can come back to tabletop, but either way, we'll start to lift the right arm high. Just an upward twist here to begin with. Circle out your right wrist a couple times, both directions. And then thread the needle. That right arm dips down and through, reaching to the left as you set your right shoulder and right side of your head on the floor or props. Breathe and notice that right shoulder joint, that right shoulder blade. And then planting your left hand back up by your face, press your way on up, reach your right hand high. And then set your right hand down. We're switching sides. Left arm starts to reach up, upward twist. Circle your left wrist out a couple times both ways. Motion is lotion for the joints, as they say. Then when you're ready, thread the needle. Left arm down and through, left shoulder and left side of your head finding the floor. You might tent your right fingertips up or walk your right hand up to the top of your mat. Any variations with that right hand are welcome. And then notice your left shoulder joint, left shoulder blade. Breathing into that area. One more breath. And then plant your right hand by your face. Press your way on up, reaching your left hand high. Good, good. All right, let's come back up to tabletop now. We're going to lower down onto the left side. So go ahead and just find your way down to your left side. You could rest your head in your left hand if you like. If it's uncomfortable to lay sideways, you could lean back a little bit, maybe propping yourself up so you're kind of at an angle, or adding cushioning underneath your body. So you do what works for you. Your right hand can just kind of help you stay on your side here. Sometimes it gets a little wobbly. We're going to work with our right hip, a little bit of strengthening here. So we're going to first lift that right foot up just so it's not touching your left foot anymore. We don't have to lift it up too high, just a couple of inches here. And then reach your right foot just a little bit more forward. So we're kind of reaching that leg forward. Go ahead and dip your toes down. So the heel, we're going to start lifting up through the heel. So just a little bit of a twist. Toes twisting down, heel lifting up, and then lower on down. Keeping that right foot just a little in front of your left foot. You might touch your big toe down to the floor, and then go ahead and lift back up, leading with the heel and ankle as much as you can. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just lifting and lowering a couple of times, and see, you might even put your hand on the outside of your right hip and just notice where you're feeling some strengthening happening. Maybe giving that right hip joint and all those muscles some encouragement, or a little tap can feel nice. Okay, and then we're gonna do one more here. So just bringing your foot back down. This time the right foot is gonna go back slightly. And we're gonna twist so the toes now are kind of twisting upwards toward the ceiling just a bit. And then we're lifting up. And we're lowering back down. We're lifting up. And then we're lowering back down. Okay, I'm feeling it quite a bit on this side of the hip. Really nice to do hip openers, but also pairing that with strengtheners. So good. Okay, let your right foot come down. Our next is going to be imagining that we're in tree pose. So if you were standing up, we're going to start bending that right knee, and you can place your right foot on your left calf, or you can kind of hoist it up to the inner thigh. Just imagining that you're in tree pose now. And you can stay here or start to grab hold of your right knee and just kind of pulling it up a little bit. Nice little stretch. This could be a good place to stay for many people. If you can reach down and grab your big toe, let's see about doing that if you can. If not, no worries. This is another stopping point if you'd like, or you might start to straighten that right leg a little bit up. Hand to toe pose. Just see how it feels. Experimenting a little bit. And then we're doing that in reverse. So just bend your knee, bring your leg back down, tree pose, and then slide your foot all the way down that left leg until they're stacked again. Good. Okay, we're gonna flip to the other side and do that same thing. You can just roll onto your stomach and then over to the right side. I'm gonna switch directions just so I face you both times. And this time our right hand is kind of cradling the head. Left hand just helping you stay in place. Then we'll lift the left leg up just a little bit, reaching it forward. This time we're going to twist the toes upward in this position. Lifting up, leading with the toes, and then lowering down. Try to do it with control, so we're not throwing the leg up and down. We're with it as high up as it can go, and then right back down with control. Remembering that if you start feeling any little wobbles, that's okay. We are strengthening. I'm definitely wobbling a little bit. Then when you're ready, give your left leg a little break. We'll lift that left leg back up, slide it back behind your right foot slightly. This time the left heel and ankle, we're kind of twisting the toes down and that heel up. Go ahead and lift, trying to lead with your heel, and then lower. And you could bring your hand to the outside of that left hip if you like to kind of feel where this is happening, or give that set of muscles here a little encouragement or a little tap as you go, just as a treat. Okay, whenever you've had enough, just let your leg come on down and rest for a moment. We're finding our side-lying tree pose, I want to call it today. So go ahead and bend your left knee and just slide your left foot up, just like you would in tree pose again. So maybe letting it rest down at your calf, or maybe you kind of hoist it up a little bit closer to the thigh. And you could stay right here or kind of get a nice stretch going by reaching to grab hold of your left knee and kind of pulling it up. Another good place to stay if you'd like, or see if you can reach down and grab hold of your left big toe. And if you'd like, maybe starting to straighten or almost straighten that left leg. It can be a little, it can be all the way. You just make sure you're honoring your body today. We're just kind of holding here for a little bit. And we'll do this in reverse now. So just bending into your left knee, bring it back down. And your left foot finding the right leg, and just slide the left foot down your right leg until you're back on this stack. Go ahead and turn onto your stomach next. And then start to lift on up to tabletop, hands and knees. We'll find our way to downward dog next. So if you like using blocks, bringing those into place up at the top of your mat. Our fingertips are spread out and very active here. Let's curl those toes under. Start to hover the knees and then lifting all the way back, reaching up through the tailbone. Find your breath here in your downward dog. Pressing your hands into blocks, pressing your tailbone high, breathing. You might pedal out your legs, bending and straightening opposite knees a couple times. And one more breath here. Start to bend your knees and look up toward your hands, and then walk or step your feet just behind your hands for ragdoll forward fold. Letting your upper body be nice and loose here. Your hands could be on blocks, or maybe they're just dangling. Arms dangling a little bit here. Make sure you're still breathing, loosening up through the upper body. Let your head and neck be kind of loose too, maybe nodding your head yes and shaking your head no a couple times. And see about bending just a little deeper into your knees. Notice what that does for your low back. And then kind of straighten your legs. You might try that a couple times if you want to. Just bending into the knees a little bit more. And straightening. One more breath here. And then bend your knees quite a bit, tucking your chin toward your chest. Start to walk your hands up your legs. Slow motion, rising up to stand. And when you eventually get to the top, any clothing adjustments, go ahead and take those. And then we'll find a good shake throughout the body. So maybe your arms and shoulders want to start today. Maybe it's the feet. You could lift and lower your heels, getting a nice kind of deep bounce going through the body. We're kind of freestyling here, so just shaking whatever parts of your body feel like moving. If there are any parts that feel kind of stuck or stagnant or kind of dull today, maybe giving that area a little tap or an extra wiggle. Okay, once you feel like your circulation is really going again, all those little wiggles for now have been had. We'll come to a comfortable standing position, feet about hip width distance apart here. We're going to lift up to the tippy toes a couple of times. So let's just flip the palms here to face the front of your space. So first we're in mountain pose. With an inhale, start to shift the weight forward toward the toes and lift your heels as you rise up. Tippy toes. And then with an exhale, start to lower back down. Let's do it just like that 2 more times. We're inhaling as we lift the heels and exhaling as we lower. 1 more time. Inhale, rise, and exhale, lower. We're going to do it 1 more time. This time, option to add on the arms. So as you inhale and lift the heels, those arms might rise up and overhead. Let's stay lifted here at the top for your exhale. A little bit of balancing here. Inhale. And then exhale, lower back down. Give those legs a little shake if they want. Then we'll start a little flow here today. We'll keep it simple. So making sure your feet are in a comfortable position, lifting up all your toes, spread your toes out, and then set them right back down. Nice solid base here. Coming back to mountain pose. With an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Option to look up as your hands join. Exhale, baby back bend. Bending your elbows to cactus arms, lifting your chest, lifting your gaze. Inhale, reach back up, unwind. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, sliding those hands up the shins, maybe even all the way up to the thighs. And then exhale, bringing your hands back down to blocks. We're going to step that right foot back first and then the left to our high plank or your variation, just for one big breath in. And then breath out, lower your knees, move those blocks to the side, and then lower your chest. Okay, we will do a little play here with our locust pose. That's the word I'm looking for. So if you have a block close by, just bringing that out in front of you now. It could be another object, or you could just imagine this. You don't necessarily need to have the prop, but it is very helpful if you do. So making sure that this feels good with your core and your shoulder joints here. Let's take a breath in as we prepare. And a breath out. With your inhale, find locust pose, lifting that block, lifting your arms, lifting your toes. And then exhale, lower back down. If that was iffy at all, maybe don't use the block. You could have your hands on the floor at your sides and just kind of make that same movement with a little more support. So options along the way. If you want to get a little tricky here with me, we're going to inhale, rise back up. With your exhale, grab hold of the block with the right hand and bring it down and around so you're crossing over your low back, handing the block from your right hand to your left hand at the low back. And then inhale as the hands come back up, grabbing hold of the block with both hands up at the top. And then exhale to lower. Take a breath of rest. We'll do that again here. You can rest as long as you'd like. Well, you're going to do 3 rounds of that total, so just pace yourself here. You know where we're headed now. With your inhale, start to rise to locust pose. Exhale, hand sweep back, right hand handing the block to your left hand behind the low back. Inhale, left hand grabs hold, arms reach up toward the top of your mat. Grab hold of that block, and exhale as you lower back down. Take a breath or two of rest in between. This time we'll go the opposite direction. So the left hand will reach back and hand the block to the right hand and then back up. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and inhale as you rise to locust. Exhale, hand sweep back, left hand handing the block to the right hand behind the low back. Inhale, reaching your arms forward, grabbing hold of that block with both hands, and exhale, set everything down. Find crocodile pose with your fists or your hands stacked beneath your forehead, letting your heels splay out to the sides, maybe kind of wobbling the hips side to side, just to help loosen up the low back. Spend a couple moments just noticing the level of tension and activation through your body. That was a very activating, strengthening pose and exercise we just did there. So just noticing. Seeing if you can come back down to a more baseline level of calmness here by getting your breath in control and kind of lengthening out that exhale. And then plant your hands on either side of your chest. With your inhale, start to press your way up to tabletop. And exhale to child's pose. Couple big breaths when you arrive. You might tent your fingertips up here and reach through the shoulders a little bit if you like. I kind of like swaying side to side here. Kind of feels like a nice stretch on my shoulders. Lots of options to add on here. If anything sparks your fancy. One more breath. With an inhale, start to rise back up, grabbing your blocks if you like to use them for your downward dog, and then finding downward dog next, taking your time. Whenever you get there, taking 3 full breaths in your down dog, your own pace here. Just about one more breath. With an inhale, start to lift your right toes up behind you, 3-legged down dog. With your exhale, bend your right knee, take a step forward, right foot stepping forward first, and then your left to the top, forward fold at the top, just making it there however you can. Inhale, halfway lift, hands sliding up the shins, maybe all the way up to the thighs as you straighten the back. And exhale, fold. Take a micro bend of your knees, and with your inhale, let's reverse swan dive to rise. The arms go wide first, then hinging upwards through the hips. Flip your palms at the top, and then join your hands overhead. Exhale, hands coming down to heart center, coming back. Spending a moment here with you, noticing your heartbeat, creating a sense of balance in your body. Remembering your intention if you set one today. And let's have a clearing breath together. Inhale through your nose. Sigh to release. Let your hands come down by your sides. With an inhale, reach hands up and overhead. Exhale, baby back bend. We're cactusing the arms, lifting the heart, lifting the gaze. Inhale, reaching back up, unwind. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands find the floor or blocks. Let's step the left foot back first this time, and then the right foot to your high plank or your favorite variation. Let's see if we can stay for 2 breaths today. Inhale and exhale. One more breath in and breath out. Lower your knees, move those blocks to the side if you're using them, and then lower your chest down. Let's just take 3 rounds of baby cobra this time. I've already done quite a bit of back strengthening. So press the tops of your feet down into the mat so much that your knees kind of start popping up a bit. With an inhale, lifting your head and heart, using the strength of your core, not so much your hands. You can even hover your hands up off of the floor if you want to make sure. And then exhale, lower down. We'll do that with breath 2 more times. Rise up with your inhale. And exhale and lower. One more time. Inhale, rising up to your version of baby cobra. And exhale to lower. Take a breath of rest at the bottom. With an inhale, press your way up to tabletop. And exhale to child's pose, whichever variation you'd like. Take a few breaths. One more breath here or so. With an inhale, start to rise back up to tabletop, grabbing your blocks under your hands if you'd like for your last downward dog here. And then eventually using an exhale for our transition to downward dog. 3 breaths when you arrive. Take it at your own pace here. Just inhaling and exhaling 3 times. Just about one more breath. With an inhale, 3-legged down dog with those left toes lifting up behind you. Exhale, bend your left knee, hug it in, take that step forward with the left foot first, and then your right foot to the top, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bending your knees just a bit here with your inhale. We're reverse swan diving to lift, so the arms reach wide, hinging upward through your hips. Flip your palms and join them overhead at the top. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Take a few moments here, cultivating a sense of balance, heart-centeredness. And then let's take a clearing breath. Inhale through your nose. Sigh out of your mouth. Blinking your eyes open if they happen to close. Let your hands come down by your sides. We're going to do a little bit of balancing here. We're going to do very similar to what we did in our side lying tree pose. If it's hard to reach your toes, which it definitely is for many people, if you have a strap or some kind of small blanket or towel or something to wrap your foot in, you could use that as we go, but you'll notice if you need that in just a little bit. So we're first starting with all the weight over on that right foot. Kickstand your left heel up on your right ankle, opening that left knee out toward the left side. Just making sure it feels good for now. If you want more of a challenge, we're lifting that left foot up a little bit more, pressing into the calf or maybe up into the inner thigh. Finding an unmoving focal point, your drishti. Breathing and balancing here. If this feels like the place you want to stay, by all means, you don't have to go further. Just stay in your tree pose. If you want to, you can start reaching down for that left knee and kind of pulling it up with the left hand. Another really good place to stay. Balance. If you want to go for it and give it a whirl, we're reaching down with the left hand to grab onto your left big toe. Another stopping point here, or if you want to experiment with straightening that left leg, you can give it a try, maybe for a second. Maybe realizing that having the wall close by could be really helpful here, as I am. We're gonna have about 3 more breaths experimenting with your tree pose or beyond. One more breath in. And then exhale as you let everything come back down. Give it a little shake. Decide what you want to do on this side, maybe grabbing a strap or making sure you're close to a wall. If you want to give that toe hold a chance. This time we're shifting to the left foot, finding that nice little kickstand with the right knee opening up toward the right side. Finding your unmoving focal point here as you get settled into this balancing state. If you start feeling settled, go ahead and experiment, maybe sliding your foot up a little higher. Pause there for a couple of breaths, maybe, or start to reach the right hand down for the right knee, holding it up. Eventually, if you want to give it a try, reaching down to grab hold of the right big toe rather. And then if you want, starting to straighten or almost straighten that right leg out. Keep experimenting here for about 3 more breaths, wherever you choose to be in your tree. One more breath in. One more breath out. Let it all come back down. Much easier to grab hold of the toes from a side lying position, isn't it? It's a good place to kind of practice that. Give it a little shake now before heading back down to the ground. Take your time as you find the floor. Maybe you come to a seat first and then to your back. Either way, we're headed to the back. Go ahead and pull your knees in with you, or as you arrive down on the floor, and give your low back some massaging pressure, some free movement as you circle, rock, roll your knees side to side or up and down. Okay, then setting your feet down on the floor here, we're going to find a twist, so arms will come out wide. Let's lift up the pelvis, scoot over and set down on the left side of your mat, and let your knees start twisting and lowering toward the right. Try to make sure that that right shoulder blade is touching down on the floor here. If it's twisting up and following you into your twist, that might just mean you want to back out of it slightly. And as you arrive here, you might slowly turn your head just a little to the left, opposite way that your knees are twisting. And when the time feels right for you, let's start to switch sides. The gaze comes back up, the knees come back up. This time we're scooting the pelvis way over toward that right edge of the mat and setting it down. And then letting your knees lower and twist toward the left. This time the gaze, going in the opposite direction, is twisting ever so gently to the right. Let yourself be here in your twist. Noticing any over-efforting, any excess trying, or any extra tension in your body, and relieve that tension. Sometimes it's as easy as noticing it. Other times it means grabbing a prop or adjusting your positioning. And when the time feels right here, go ahead and come back to center, gazing up, knees coming up. Center your pelvis there on your mat, so you're back in the middle. If there are any last poses, movements, or stretches that your body is wanting or asking you for, now is your time to move a little bit before settling in for our final rest. So take your time. Eventually, as you begin finding your way to final rest, you might choose that constructive rest pose with your feet standing up near the edges of your mat and your knees coming to the center. Maybe you find Shavasana with your arms and legs extended. We're going to be in this meditation for just about 10 minutes, more like 9 minutes. So make sure that you're extra comfy as you settle in. Maybe taking one more sighing breath. Closing your eyes if you'd like, or maybe keeping your eyes halfway open or focused in on the drishti focal point in front of you. Your call. Our body scan meditation can be considered a non-sleep deep rest experience where our minds stay active and awake, but our bodies enter kind of a state of sleepiness and rest. So I will begin to say different parts of the body, and as I name them, just go ahead and let your awareness gently swirl around those body parts. And it's very common to kind of lose track every once in a while. So if you kind of drift, just see if you can come right back to my voice. So starting with the mouth, noticing your tongue, becoming aware of the roof of your mouth, your gums, teeth, top row of teeth, bottom row of teeth, your entire mouth. Upper lip, lower lip, chin, jaw, right cheek, left cheek, right ear, left ear, right nostril, left nostril, bridge of the nose, right eye, left eye, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, forehead, smoothing out the forehead, noticing your entire face together. Scalp, back of your neck, throat, right shoulder, right arm, right hand, thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Your entire right arm and hand together. Right side of your chest. Right side, as in hip and waist. Right leg. Right foot. Big toe. Second toe. Third toe. Fourth toe. And pinky toe. Your entire right side of your body. If you feel yourself drifting to sleep, why don't to wiggle your fingers slightly, reawakening your mind. And let your body find that state of deep rest again. Left shoulder, left arm, left hand, thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Left side of your chest, left waist and hip, left leg, left foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe. Your entire left side together. Becoming aware of the back side of your body. The top side of your body. Bringing your awareness to the inside of your body. See if you can sense the air just outside of your skin. Bring your awareness to your entire body as one. Entire body as one. Continuing to let your body rest, you might turn your closed eye, gaze up to the third eye center, the screen of the mind. Just allow yourself to rest here for a few more breaths. Please know that you are welcome to stay and continue resting as long as you'd like. Just ignore the rest of this class. Do your own thing. If you are ready to begin reawakening, just taking a nice little wiggle of the fingers and toes, slowly, softly. You may let your head rock from one side to the other. Continuing to move in ways that feel right to you as you awaken your physical body. Maybe reaching for a long body stretch or something else entirely. It's up to you. Maybe yawning or swallowing. And then choose a side to roll onto, finding the fetal position with your knees slightly tucked in. Maybe your bottom arm can be a pillow. Take a full breath here with no rush. And at the bottom of your exhale, use the help of your arms and hands to press your way up to a comfortable seat. Maybe closing your eyes as you join your hands in front of your heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace in our actions, peace in our words, peace in our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center. If it feels right to you, let's take a little bow forward in gratitude together now. Peace.